Now that that's all settled, it is time for our special edition Summer S'mores edition, as I'm calling it. We are just checking in. We haven't talked to y'all, the good people of Lockdown Nation, since the NFL Draft Round 1. We did a live stream for the Packers' 2 picks. So, yeah, we're going to recap. We're going to keep this kind of tight tonight. But we do have some stuff to get to. But first, we start with this.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story.
Breaking news.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Right now!
For those of you that don't know this, my co-host got engaged last month in St. Louis. Tip of the cap to you, sir. So not only do I have to deal with this person for a podcast now, I now have to deal with him as my brother-in-law. So that's always fun. But anyway, just thought we should start the show there because, again, we're recapping what's happened. I got a dog. His name's Baxter. He's looking right at me. So if he barks, Baxter's just saying hello. Oh, there he is.
Oh, hello, Baxter.
There he is. Hi, buddy. Okay, time to go to work. Anywho, that's what's new with us. But some stuff has happened since. So before we get into all that, let's start with the draft. So you and I talked about the first 2 picks on draft night, so we don't have to rehash that. Very quickly, we'll go through the picks here. Round 2, Packers trade up for North Dakota State wide receiver Christian Watson. Then they go offensive line and Sean Ryan from UCLA. Then and we'll talk about this guy in a minute. I really like this pick. The more I've thought about it and marinated with it. Romeo Doubs, wide receiver of Nevada. Zach Tom, another pick I really liked in the 4th round. Both of those guys, 4th rounders. Then, we get into the late rounds. Kingsley, I don't even know how to say that. Ngabare? I don't know how to say that one. That's going to take some getting used to. Then they take Georgia Tech receiver Tariq Carpenter, Miami defensive lineman Jonathan Ford, offensive lineman from Penn State Rasheed Walker, who also might be a little bit of a sleeper-y pick. And then finally, Nebraska's wide receiver, I think it's not Samurai.
Samare. It's
Samare.
Samare.
I know his last name is Corey. I know that. But every time I want to say Samurai, and I know it's not that. So I got caught up there. But anyway, so that is your 2022 Packer draft class. And actually, as of today, they are all signed. They signed all their picks. Christian Watson was the last one, and Watson signed the dotted line today. So let's start here. You and I both kind of at the time questioned the first round draft picks of Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Not so much Wyatt, but more the Quay Walker. We are now several months away from that. So now that you've sat with it, you've thought about it, how are you feeling about this 2022 Packer draft class?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at first, very hesitant, didn't really like it. And now that I've kind of sat on it and thought about it a little bit, it was a really good draft. It was very good. I mean, it literally hit everything we needed. I thought even when we picked up the receivers in our later rounds, I really liked them, like you said, with Romeo Doubs, who we can get to in a little bit. I think these guys are going to be very valuable. Either whether they actually put an impact in the starting lineups or they just put an impact in special teams, because obviously special teams got awful last year. Yeah. So getting athletic guys who are willing, to make a push in roles that they need to play, I think it's great. I think a lot of these guys are going to make big roles wherever they go.
I'm right there with you. The Quay Walker thing, I get what they were trying to do. They want an athletic linebacker to pair with Campbell. I get that. Still probably a little bit of a reach for me, but I'm more comfortable with it today than I was on April 28th. Devontae Wyatt, I liked that pick at the time. I still do. The one in Watson, whatever. I wanted them to take him in round 1, so to get him in round 2, although they gave up their entire second round. I mean, okay. The picks I really like from this class specifically, Zach Tom, offensive lineman. I think he's going to compete for that right guard spot with Royce Newman right away, and I wouldn't be shocked if he wins it. Rasheed Walker in the 7th. He had some injury stuff. I think maybe some off-the-field stuff, but that's reckless speculation, so I don't know that for a fact. But he had some stuff going on that made him drop. But a lot of people thought he was worth a second round or third round pick. So to get him in the 7th, okay. That's a pretty nice pickup at the back end.
Yeah, he's humongous too. I think he's like 6'7", like 360. He's huge.
Yeah, which is just the most Packery pick of if there ever was a Packer pick. And then you take your shots with, again, not Samurai, Samare Torre, I think.
Yeah.
I'll get it right unless he gets cut, in which I won't care that much. But then you take your shots on a couple linebackers, safety, Jonathan Ford out of Miami. Okay. But I want to talk for a second about these receivers because obviously going into the draft night, you and I were sitting there together watching with everybody. They need to get a receiver. Night one doesn't happen. We were all furious. Like, what are they doing? You have 2 first-round picks. Go get one of these studs. Well, they get one of them, allegedly. He's an athletic freak, Christian Watson. Athletic freak. You can give him the ball in the backfield. He can go deep. For whatever you thought of MVS, I think this could be an upgraded version by quite a long. I mean, he's got some drop issues, which every Packer rookie receiver has. I mean, let's be honest; they've all struggled. Devontae Adams, it took 3 years before he took off. So
everyone thought he was going to get cut. Yeah, so give him time.
Yeah, some of these take time. So this is why I wanted to bring this up because as much as I like the Watson pick, I do think he can be a stud. He's got all the tools. I don't know that he's going to be a performer this year. However, that said, the guy that got in the 4th round, Romeo Doubs, yeah, I think he's a little more polished. He doesn't have the athletic tools that Watson has, but I think if you're looking for one of these two, if I had a gun to my head and you told me one of these guys has to produce for a rookie receiver, it could be anywhere from Jamar Chase to a nobody. I mean, you have no idea. But I truly believe that Romeo Doubs is going to play a big, big factor. Not Amari Rodgers. I remember last fall we were talking about Amari Rodgers making an impact. It's not going to be that. If it's going to be anything, it probably maybe Randall Cobb his rookie year, I think would be a decent comparison, although he's bigger, faster, stronger than Cobb was. But I think that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. And actually, since we're talking about receivers, I don't know if you saw this. It was right before we taped or started going live here. Packers worked out John Brown, receiver. They didn't sign him. They just worked him out. And then Rob Demovsky just tweeted out there, Packers are still looking for a veteran receiver. So, to quote Brian Windhorst, why would the Packers do this? That's all I have to say on that. I was still waiting for your opinion. Sorry, we're a little rusty.
Sorry, been a little too long. I mean, I would assume. Okay, so this is just speculation, but I would assume they're trying to wait till Julio comes around. I mean, I think that's kind of where you were trying to lead with that one. If I would assume, if I know you, I think Julio is kind of their best option right now. I think they're kind of waiting to see what he wants to do. I really don't even think it's going to be the Packers' choice to really pick him up around. It's going to be on Julio's terms, but
sure.
I think the Packers are going to give it some time before they reach out to him because obviously Julio's going to want some money, and I think they're going to be a little hesitant to pay him that money. But I think they're going to wait a couple weeks down the road and see how these guys are performing. If they're not performing where they want to, they're going to be, well, we need to get somebody who's going to make an impact like now. And I think that's what it's going to be.
Well, and the John Brown thing is interesting because he would give him a deep threat that right now I guess we're assuming that's going to be Christian Watson, but we have no idea. And who knows if Rodgers is even going to trust him. That's a part of this. They have Sammy Watkins, which, honest to God, I forgot about until Seabrault commented that he was on the team. I totally forgot he was on the team. But, Sammy Watkins is here. But the trouble I'm having.
May I approach?
You may approach.
Okay. So as far as I heard Sammy Watkins looks really good according to multiple reporters, and that he was squatting like 405 for reps easily the other week. That's what I heard. So apparently he's looking good as far as I've heard.
That's fantastic. I hope he comes out and is the Sammy Watkins of 6 years ago. That would be amazing. And maybe it's a big butt because he's squatting 405, so it's probably a giant butt. But let's be clear here. When they sign him, everybody knows you're getting most likely at max 10 games out of him. If you get anything more, it is gravy. but I don't think anyone is expecting him to play a full season. Now, if he does, fantastic. And I mean, he hasn't done it in a very long time, but it would be amazing if he did. The John Brown part of this, yes, I get you want a deep threat, but he's very small. He's not really the Packers archetype for what they like in a wide receiver. Again, why would the Packers do this? Because I do believe, and who knows, maybe it's Will Fuller, because we've heard the Will Fuller connection for how long now, and he's still out there, I believe. Something's coming, is all I'm saying. I don't know who it is, but I would find it hard to believe that they don't pick, at least for training camp. I would find it hard to believe they don't pick up a veteran wide receiver, at least just for training camp.
Yeah, I would find it hard to believe that they don't. But I think Will Fuller is on the Panthers, by the way. I think someone did pick him up.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Panthers have him because I thought I saw a report the other day that he looked awful and then he was on the practice squad now because he looked terrible. That's what I heard.
Well, let us take a quick Google search. This is a segment I like to call Google It. As of right now, according to Wikipedia, which we all know how reliable that can be, this says he's a free agent. I guess let's go into the assumption that he's a free agent and available, because I don't see anything here that indicates anyone's picked him up. But let's, for the sake of the argument, let's just say that he's available until we know for sure. Again, sorry for it being so sloppy. This is all coming together real last minute. So anyway, I think something's coming. I don't know what. I don't know who. Something's coming. And even if it's, remember, this is what I would relate it to. Remember, they picked up Cedric Benson, and everyone was like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" It's a name, but you're not expecting much. I think that's what's going to happen here. Even if it's Julio, let's face it. At this point, Julio's a name. He's not the player he once was, and that's okay. He's old. He's had so many injuries. Something's coming, is what I'm saying. All tea leaves point to it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're going to have to make some move for a veteran receiver. I mean, just because obviously you could argue that we have, like you said, a veteran receiver in Sammy Watkins, but is he going to be able to, teach the younger receivers anything? Like, are they going to be able to? Is he going to be able to produce to what we need to? Because, I talked about this too with a couple other people. I said, it wouldn't shock me, because we talked about losing Adams and having that factor. But honestly, like, it would not shock me to see multiple receivers get like 400 or 500-yard seasons. To have at least like 5 of them do that. Like, it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't. Because, like, our offense is meant to be efficient, throw the ball around, spread the defense out, like really just cause chaos in secondaries. Like, that's kind of what our offense is. It's just a lot of motions and getting the ball around. Adams wasn't fitting that program, and we had to change so much to fit what he did well. And you kind of saw it near the end of the season, like, teams started catching up, like, oh yeah, this is going to Adams, and like we had nothing to do, like we had nothing, had nothing to offer after that.
Yeah.
So I think getting some of these younger guys in, who like you said, maybe not be polished yet, but guys who can be dangerous downfield, I think is just kind of what we need at the moment. And if we can get a veteran guy who's solid to help come in mid-season if we need him, I think that's best case scenario right there.
And look, at this point, again, something's coming. I don't know what, but all signs point to it. A guy like Odell Beckham Jr., he won't take snaps away from the young guys because he'll be working his way back from an injury. They've had interest in him in the past, but I don't know. This team appears to be all in because they're spending on defense. They invested heavily in the defense. They re-signed Aaron Jones last offseason, which obviously that might have been for last season, but now they're going to really need him. There's a lot of stuff they're doing. They brought Aaron Rodgers back and gave him a giant bleeping contract. They're doing a lot of stuff that indicates they are all in. So to go with a really inexperienced group of wide receivers, especially when they are that close, look, they lost in the round 2 of the playoffs last year. That team was better than that, and I think we all know that. Other than the special teams, that team as a whole, well, at least 2 units, was Super Bowl ready, and they probably get there. I'm guessing, beat the Bengals if they get there, and I think they beat the Rams, especially Stafford coming to Lambeau. That Rams team is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from them, but let's be honest. That Packer team was the heavy favorite for a reason, and their special teams let them down. But also, as you said, it became the Devontae Adams show, and that's not his fault. He was just the only guy Aaron Rodgers trusted at that point, who was somewhat healthy. And now we have an opportunity to use more motion, get more guys involved, keep defenses on their toes. So all of that is good. That's a good thing. But just as we get into August, because right now it's July, so nothing has to happen today. It's July 20th. But as we go on, I'm just saying it would not shock me if all of a sudden, Odell Beckham 1 year, $5 million, or Julio Jones 1 year, $2 million, or $5 million, or whatever he's going to command. Just keep your eyes open. But speaking of contracts, we haven't spoken to y'all since a couple of things happened. We're going to breeze right by this one. We've talked enough about receivers tonight. Allen Lazard re-tendered a contract, or tendered a contract, re-signed, however you want to pull it. Allen Lazard's back. 1 year, $4 million for that deal. So, yeah, he right now, I guess if you had to put a label on him, is your number one receiver. Okay, great. I mean, it's not too exciting. We all kind of figured it was going to happen. We talked enough about receivers. Let's move on. The biggest news since we've talked to y'all, Jaire Alexander, 4 years locked up for $84 million. And this is great for a number of reasons. Helps cap situation. Obviously locks up who I would argue is the best corner in the league today when healthy. Obviously last year wasn't healthy, so that's hard to judge. But we're talking about a playmaker on the defensive end that they haven't had since Charles Woodson. Or, I don't even know who to compare it to because he does a lot of things that a lot of guys can't. So Jaire Alexander, Packer for another 4 years at least. Dustin, your reaction to that news?
If everybody was listening last season to us, I was kind of foreshadowing the whole season. We kept bringing up the, who would you sign? Who would you rather sign? I kept saying, a really solid lockdown corner. You got the bit? I kind of want you to play it now. I did it. Please say you got the bit. You're muted. I can't hear you. You're still muted. I can't hear you.
It's rusty, folks. I'm sorry. You keep talking. I'm going to try and find it. I'll set you up again. And this is our first time experimenting with sound effects, but I think we can do it. But continue. I'll mute my microphone.
Okay. But anyways, it's much more difficult to find a solid cornerback than it is to find a receiver because receivers are very replaceable. It just, they come and go very, very quickly. A lot of talent coming down the road as well. So it's not much of a surprise to see them spend the money, especially now that they saved so much with, letting Adams go and trading him away. I mean, honestly, looking back at it, looking at that trade, obviously it hurt at first because we all liked him. We loved him. Obviously, he was one of the greatest receivers in the league. But, looking back at it, it was the right trade. It was a good trade. We got some draft capital out of him, and we got a lot of money saved. So I think that was probably the best way to go about it. But, yeah.
I'm with you. I think at the time it was the right thing to do, although we were all in shock and we were mad, especially me, because eventually that cabinet behind me with all my movies and baseball pop Funkos are going to go, and there's going to be a Devontae Adams jersey plastered there. But we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, what were you saying about Jaire Alexander? How would you describe him?
I would describe him as a lockdown corner.
He said it. He said it.
Did it come through?
Yep, love it.
Fantastic. I think that's what we're going to have to do.
I think we executed that perfectly. I couldn't have done that any better.
It was smooth and not totally fake at all.
Smooth and totally sailing through. Definitely one take. Did not have to go back for that.
Yep. That's what. Well, if you're watching the live stream, I apologize for the clunkiness. If you're listening to the audio podcast, which is also the live version, I apologize for that as well. But all right. So those are the contracts. Are there any, I guess, NFL news and notes? I guess we can just touch on this very quickly because it was reported today that Jimmy Garoppolo is now available. He is trying to seek a trade from San Francisco. So Does this mean anything to you?
They're not going to trade him. I don't think anyone's going to take an offer on him until like mid-season. I talked about this with somebody else too. I don't think they'll trade him until either like right around mid-season because let's be honest, as of right now, they're not going to get much for him. So why would they trade him away for nothing when they can just wait and hold on to him and say, because especially with Trey Lance, because like they have no idea what they're getting in Trey Lance right now. Like they have zero idea. Because they could put Trey Lance in, he could suck. So like for them to trade him now would be the dumbest thing for them to do. Like it'll be a very big mistake for them. Because like say they go all in on Lance and he plays terrible. I mean they're stuck there. They're screwed with a Super Bowl caliber team. I mean they're just screwed right there. So I would not doubt mid-season maybe they trade him if Lance is good.
Well, this is just a report from Schefter. So I'll just read this and take this for what it's worth. Quote from Adam Schefter on Twitter. 49ers officially have given Jimmy Garoppolo's agents Don Yee and Carter Chow permission to seek a trade, sources said. Garoppolo has been cleared to start practicing per team sources. 49ers are still expected to exercise caution with him this summer. So I'm guessing he's coming back from an injury. Or he had a
shoulder injury. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw it, and actually in this, I Twitter searched Jimmy Garoppolo, and right underneath it says, and this is from sketchy source at NFL Rooms on Twitter. So take this with a giant grain of salt because it's probably nothing. But report: Browns are not expected to pursue Garoppolo in a trade. I think that's because the only reason that that's a thing would be because of the Deshaun Watson stuff, which we don't have to get into. But yeah, so it's possible he gets traded. I'm not saying he won't because, I mean, are we here? Let me put it this way. It's one of my favorite games to play on the show. Are we sure Garoppolo's better than Trey Lance as of today? Are we really sure? Because I am not. At this, and look, I guess I believe in Shanahan that much, where if he can do it with Garoppolo, which, let's be honest, we saw maybe, half a good season from Garoppolo, then he tore his ACL, and I guess he made it to a Super Bowl, but no one's like, Garoppolo got them to the Super Bowl. Well, they were a throwaway from a Super Bowl, really. But I'm just throwing it out there. Are we sure that Trey Lance isn't a better option for them?
I mean, I don't doubt you at all right there. I think I probably would take that all day, but I mean, it's just the problem of where is he going to go? Like the only possible scenario, one named Justin Fields. Oh my God, get the hell out of the chat, please. You guys and Justin Fields are going to drive me nuts. You know what's funny? We were talking about fantasy value the other day, and it literally pained me to say that he was going to be top 15 quarterback in fantasy. I hated saying that. It just made me cringe because he's got so much damn rushing value, and it pisses me off because he's such a bad thrower. This is him with his quarterback, number 3. Oh my God, it was just a receiver. No, he was literally staring him down for 20 minutes before he threw the ball and said, "Hey, I'm throwing to him." You might as well just say it. Okay, anyways, on my Justin Fields rant. Thank you all for my TED Talk. But
Trey Lance?
Yeah, anyways, I think the only scenario where I see Garoppolo getting traded is Seattle. But again, I still see that mid-season trade because, say, Geno Smith and Drew Lock both, kind of pooped the bed. Well, I mean, they're kind of screwed. We're like, yeah, we need a quarterback now. So that's the only scenario.
No shot San Francisco wants to trade in division. Although Garoppolo might suck or be injured, and they might be like, "Oh yeah, we'll make a deal," and then you know what I mean, like the old bait and switch. But no shot. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't see any scenario where anyone bringing him in for a trade makes any sense. Like I just don't see it happening. Like, and then depending what are they going to get out of him? It's just my biggest question.
Yeah, and I mean at this point. Mid-round pick, maybe
at best. I think.
I don't think you're not getting a 1.
No, hell no.
You're not getting 2. No. I don't think you're getting 3. I don't care if it's the quarterback position or not. What has he shown you? And I know we're not doing takeoffs or anything. This is just kind of a recap thing. Honestly, I'd rather have Tua. if I was, if I'm starting a franchise today, and look, last fall I said Tua was going to be comeback player of the year, all this stuff. It wasn't even close. Yeah, that was a hot take that did not happen at all. And I don't even think he flashed. I remember the preseason game at Flash. It was like, oh, okay, and it just hasn't flashed.
Yeah, flashed against second string guys.
Oh, yeah. No, I was wrong. Now, I don't want to go on a Dolphins tangent. I have some stock, a little bit, not a ton, and I might be the only one, but I have some real estate on Dolphins Island. Not a lot of it, and not beachfront. I didn't pay a ton, but like inner city, cheap, like just.
You got some penny stocks left yet? You got some penny stocks.
Yeah, just take a flyer. They run the San Francisco thing. They got a boatload of running backs now. Waddle, Hill, Gesicki. I mean, I got a little stock.
Yeah, this is all I'm going to say. If he does not improve after this year, I'm totally sold out. Like,
oh yeah,
like I said, I have literally one penny stock left, and like this is it. Like, if he does not improve at all, I think Dolphins should move on. Like, they gave him every opportunity now to improve and play better. It's just.
Oh, I think they will. Not that this is a Dolphins podcast, but if he doesn't show it this year, he's got weapons up the wazoo and a new coach that's offensive friendly, like high profile offensive friendly. This is from the Shanahan tree. Like, he doesn't do it this year, and they're going to run the ball a lot. So he doesn't have to be magical. He has to be 1% better than Garoppolo. And you're good. Like, you're going to probably win 10 games and get in the playoffs, and yay. But anyway, I digress. I think that was all of the news NFL-wise today. Anything you heard on the rumor? That should be a segment, just rumor mill.
I mean, it's just a lot of kind of steam right now because it's training camp. A lot of these rumors are probably going to be gone within the next week. So nothing noteworthy, at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now we're going to wrap up our show, but I want to see if I can challenge you to just a twist on an old-fashioned game, everyone's favorite game.
It's time to get wacky. It's time for Random Packer of the Week.
So I just want to tweak this a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. I want to do a rap battle style. I just want you and I to go back and forth until one of us loses. I just want to go back and forth and name kickers and punters, just back and forth as far as we can.
Kickers and punters. Oh boy.
Kickers and punters off the top of our heads. And if you're watching at home, I see there's some people in the stream. Packer punters and Packer kickers through the years. I will start the bidding with an obvious choice, Mason Crosby.
All right, Tim Mastay.
Oh, that's a good name. I want to see what name makes us smile more. I will up it with Josh Bidwell.
Josh Bidwell. I don't even remember the name, honestly. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying. I can't remember his first name, but Longwell. I remember his last name. I can't remember his first name.
Ryan Longwell?
Yeah, Ryan Longwell. Thank you. I was gonna say I remember his last name, but I can't remember. John Ryan. Okay.
That's a good one right there, John Ryan. That was actually my next one that he stole from me. Yeah, right. The Packers haven't had a lot of kickers. Peter Mortel, training camp punter.
Wow.
The reason I bring that one up is I went to high school with him.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. That's the only reason I was in my name.
Oh, our fan favorite, Al. J.K. Scott.
Oh, yes. How could we forget?
It was so bad.
I know this isn't like, I guess I started with Crosby, and I know Bojorquez isn't going to do much, but actually they have a new punter this year, don't they? Is it Bojorquez?
Yeah, I think I don't know if he's gone. They might have just picked up another guy.
Hold on. Now, I promise I will be looking at the current punters, or the current punter. Oh, they do have a new punter. It's former Bears punter, Pat O'Donnell.
That dude had a crazy combine when he was in the NFL combine. I think he ran like a 4.6 40 and then he put up like 25 on the 225 press. He just had an insane combine. But then
Well,
obviously he got the NFL and he sucks.
Well, he's the new Packer punter, and actually,
Great, nothing new.
the first thing on Google is, do Packers have a punter? Second one
No.
is, what happened to Packers punter? So, Chris Jackie's been nominated.
Damn it, Chris.
I think, as far as I can remember, I think I'm tapped out. Do you have any names left?
Yeah, Chris Jackie was be my next one, and I was gonna be tapped out.
I was saving that one for the end game.
I was gonna say, I feel like there should be more. I remember, but it's just so many of them forgettable.
I had so many in my head today because I was listening to a podcast and they were playing across the NFL. They were playing the safety game, which is just named safeties. So it was like
That'd be
Bob Sanders, Palomalu, but then weird ones like Atari Bigby, like just they were playing that game. But it was just listing names back and forth. And I'm like, oh, on the podcast tonight, I should see if we can do Packers punters and kickers through the years. But really, in my lifetime, I feel like Crosby's been here since 06. And then it was Longwell, and then he left for Minnesota. And then Jackie? Was there anyone? I don't even know who this person is. Is it Jan? Is it Jan? I don't know who that is. Well, Dustin's yawning, so I think that's going to end our podcast tonight.
Sorry, it's been a very long day.
No, I'm right there with you. And this was a flu game for me, so we don't have to go into detail, but you know what I mean. So that's going to do it for our Summer S'mores recap edition. We have not decided if this is going to be back to weekly. We might wait till we get a little closer into training camp because technically they have not started yet. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on, I'm assuming, whatever podcast platform that you may like. Apple, Spotify, even my spots are shoddy. I do want to mention, because it is important to someone very close to both of us, August 7th, 11 a.m. in Appleton. And if they are watching, if you could send us the name of the park that it's at, but Good Cause Empowered Tutoring is hosting a kickball tournament down in Appleton. I'm hoping that my sister, your fiance, is watching, where she can just type in the name of the park. So we'll give her a second for that. But Empowered Tutoring is the name of the organization. Basically, they help kids who can't afford to get school supplies or extra help with their schoolwork. Basically, they try and help with all of that. So this kickball tournament is hopefully a giant fundraiser for them. They got bake sale. Playman Park in Appleton. So if you are available, it is August 7th at 11 a.m. Lockdown Corner Podcast is sponsoring for every triple/home run that is kicked. We will be donating $1, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we got a lot of kickball to play that day, so that total is going to add up fast, but Dustin and I are going to split the cost on that. So we are sponsoring this event. So support the people that, support our community, but support the people that support us. If you can make it, August 7th, Playman Park, 11 a.m., kickball tournament. And if you want, you can register your team. Make sure you find Empowered Tutoring on Facebook. Or if you can't make it, or what have you. Sorry, I just got distracted by this comment. If it loads.
Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl.
It's not quite the Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl, but the hope is that it becomes the Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Anyway, if you can't make it that day or whatever, just donate. This is the link below. They have a Venmo as well, but it's a good cost. So if you have anything you're willing to spare, or if you get that stimmy check and you don't know what to do with it, make sure you help out the kids in this area. But anyway, so that is August 7th. We'll talk more about that as we get closer and give you more details as they come up, although I think I just gave you all the details. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the live stream, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page where you get the live streams, as well as our Facebook page, just Lockdown Corner. Our Twitter account has been pretty sad. We'll have to attack that a little heavier, but that's at Corner Lockdown if you are interested in following us on Twitter. And for the time being, that's going to do it. Again, thank you for watching. Sorry if it was a little rusty. Both of us are a little rusty. It's been since April 28th. That was our last stream. So a little rough, but you get it. So Packer season's right around the corner. I believe training camp for them starts next week. If you look it up on the Packers Twitter account, they already have some outdoor practices or public practices listed. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, that's it. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Lockdown Corner Podcast.